and it's Seattle and Cincinnati. Going to Cincinnati or the Seattle Seahawks off a bye. Spread is Bengals -3. The weather is supposed to be meh by Cleveland, but we checked today as of Wednesday, and the weather's supposed to be okay in Cincinnati, like 10 to 12 mile an hour winds.
Much different part of the state, not by the lake, more in the valley.
Yeah.
In this game, I like the Bengals -3. I bet them -2.5. I'd still bet -3. Joe Burrow looked healthy last week. I know it was the Cardinals defense, but the fact that he just looked okay and not grimacing, I think he's closer. Getting closer to 100% from that calf injury that he sustained in training camp and then re-aggravated in week 2. But I do think there's some good signs for the Bengals offense going forward. And at 2-3, they kind of need this game, and I feel like they're kind of going to go all out in a situation against the Seahawks team. I know they're off a bye, so they're rested and got healthy themselves. I think Geno Smith probably needed that extra week after that injury he sustained in week 4. I'm just not a huge believer in the Seahawks. I know they had a great defensive performance against the Giants in week 4 last time we saw them with 11 sacks, but going into that game, they had 5 sacks. So I think it was more Giants ineptitude than the Seahawks defense being. So I like the Bengals here. I think this is a pretty reasonable number for them to cover at home.
I don't like this game. No bet. Reason.
You're good. No bet.
I can't trust the Bengals. They've played good teams and they've looked terrible. But if I had to make a lean, I would go with what Nate said with the Bengals. But the Seahawks, you don't know if they're good or not because they haven't really played anyone outside the Lions. Get this away from me.
And that Lions game, I know it was an impressive win to beat the Lions like they did, but there was a pick 6 by Goff and just kind of a lot of like fluky plays where I don't really put too much stock into that for Seattle.
I took the Bengals -3. The stat that I read that I was intrigued in, because initially I thought Seahawks off a bye, thought that might be a good move. Seattle is 0-3 off their bye since 2020. Last 3 seasons, they have not won against the spread, I should say, off their bye. So I think this is a good spot for the Bengals. Seattle is not like another normal NFL team off a bye where you maybe expect them to play better than they normally have been. I think, like you said, and we talked about this about Cincinnati, where the Bengals are a team that historically over the last couple seasons get better as the season goes on, and that's especially true with Joe Burrow's ankle getting a little bit better. So I think the Cincinnati team is primed for a really big breakout game against a better team than the Cardinals. So I think Cincinnati -3 is the move. I think we might see them, they could win by double digits maybe with the way that they've been playing. So if T. Higgins is back especially too, I like the Bengals on this one.